We just went live with Radio Venice.
You're live, yes.
So you're all live.
Hi, my name's Rita Ohlmeyer. I'm at the Civic Resident Theater, and this is our concert space. And I created this space, I think, because, well, maybe I was being a little selfish for the love of music, not because I'm a singer. And it used to be an antique store. Actually, I'll tell you a little interesting story. The lady that had the antique store, her name was Wanda, and she used to dance with 3 other women. The pictures in the back in the green room. And her boyfriend was Jimmy Durante. Now, you probably don't know who that is. He's a comic, and they called him the Schnoz because he had a big nose. I'm sure you know. We just were internationally known. We just had some picture plays next door that are now going to New York. They got such acclaim. Subscriber group of about 8,000 people. There's people tell me they've never seen a bad show here.
Wow.
So this space has a lot of history. And sticks are amazing, and it turned out to be so beautiful. We love having Michael here and Rick Boston. Michael always comes in and just, he's magic. There's no other word for it. But it's like almost 36 years old. Pacific Resident Theater, he's just magic.
Yes.
And it's wonderful to have him and now the Dardens. Pacific Resident.
Tonight I did hear you at the Music Box Micro Stage once. But you guys are the Dardens sisters. And now you're live from the Pacific Resident Theater, Pueblo.
And I play the mandolin in the band. I'm Clara and I play the guitar.
When did you learn to play the mandolin?
I've been playing it for probably about 14 years, maybe.
14 years. Well, do you happen to remember like one of the earliest songs you learned on the mandolin?
Probably You Are My Sunshine.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, do you still know how to play it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, we still play it. Yeah.
Orange County, wow. Callie in the house. Lovely. Welcome. And we have Clara, and you play the guitar? What brand? Mandolin.
Different ones. The one that I'm playing tonight is an Eastman.
An Eastman mandolin. Yes. Shout out to Eastman. And which guitar are you playing tonight?
I have a
Martin guitar have a history behind it.
It does, actually. My guitar I had prior was stolen, and so I happened to be taking a trip to Nashville the next week, and so I went to Nashville and I was able to get a guitar at Room Guitars, and I always wanted to get a Martin, so it actually worked out kind of well, the timing, because I was able to get the guitar I always wanted to get. So I like the guitar a lot.
T-shirt from Google Guitars.
Yeah.
One of my favorite T-shirts.
That's awesome.
What's on the shirt?
Grun Guitars.
And how do you spell it?
G-R-U-H-N.
G-R...
It's a famous place, right? But the cool thing is the gray shirt has a cool logo. It's got the black long arms, you know? It's really cool.
Oh, dope.
I like that. I've been playing for almost 20 years now. I picked it up first because when our parents bought us instruments, that was the one. I'm not sure exactly where the decision was made, but we were handed instruments, and that happened to be mine. And I think I had showed an interest in the guitar.
Because her grandmother used to play guitar, and she's named after Grandma Clara. So we thought it would be nice if she would learn to play guitar like Grandma Clara.
There's the story.
Oh, how lovely. So you must be Mommy.
Yes.
Oh, lovely to meet you.
Yeah, I didn't realize that's the decision. That makes a lot of sense. But I always loved the guitar since I picked it up, and so from then on I just gravitated to mainly the acoustic guitar. That's my favorite. And my first song, probably one like You Are My Sunshine, or a lot of those old traditional folk songs and things like that, because those are the types that we would sing with our mom, and then our grandpa played music too, so he would teach us a lot of the older songs from the 50s and 40s and things like that. And so a lot of those older songs were ingrained in us, and would play those, and then I would just walk around the house every time I learned a new chord and just keep strumming it and try to play along.
So you grew up in a very musical family. Lucky. Do you happen to remember some of the songs that you were learning?
Well, a lot of old standard jazz tunes. All of me.
Just gonna say all of me.
Come on, give us a chorus. We were just talking. Actually, just before this, we were just talking because we were doing a SoundCheck and we were playing some of those songs, like "After You've Gone and Left Me Crying," "After You've Gone," or "Ain't Misbehaving, Saving All My Love for You." Those kinds, those fun show tunes.
Don't get me started, because we won't ever leave here. So get back with something. Come on.
Just sit under the apple tree with anyone else but me. Anyone else but me. Anyone else but me. No, no, no. Don't sit under the apple tree with anyone else but me. Till I come marching home. Andrew's sisters. There was these three sisters in the 40s during the wartime era, and they did a lot of they performed for the troops a lot, and they did a lot of those types of songs. Like he was a big shop man from our Chicago way. He had a buggy style no one else could play. He was the top man at his craft, and then his number came up, and he was gone with the draft. He's in the army now, a blower reveille. He's a boogie woogie bugle boy, company B. Blow a bugle for his Uncle Sam. We're really drive him down because he couldn't jam. The captain seemed to understand. Because the next to the cap went on a draft in the band. And now the company jumps when he was reveille. He's a boogie woogie bugle boy, company B. Attitude goes late to the bar.
Wow. Yes, we learned that she met you when you were 13. Who was the one that she met at 13? Singing. Was that you?
It was the singing one.
Oh, Halala?
Eyes on the sparrow.
Oh.
So how long have you been managing Dardens? Wow.
Since they were like, it's the girl that's playing the bass, I think she was like 13 or 14.
So how did you first meet them? That's so super cool.
I know, I met them because my mother was, when you're in the hospital for a long period of time, go to the light. When you're in the hospital for a long period of time, you have to go to a rehab facility to learn how to walk again. So my mother was there, and I was going to get her ice, and I heard this incredible voice singing "His Eyes on the Sparrow," and I know he watches me. And I know he watches me. I sing because I'm happy. So she was singing this song. I said, "Oh my God!" So I sat down, and I was just bawling my eyes, and I was like, "Who are these? Who are they?" And they just continued to sing amazing songs of their repertoire, from "Fly Me to the Moon" to whatever was current at the time. And so I was like,
Oh, Halala?
Eyes on the sparrow. Oh.
A childhood music memory.
And I play the bass guitar. And I think, like many bassists, I just kind of got pushed into the role. I played ukulele first. That was my first instrument. And then we actually all played ukulele.
Oh, what was the songs that you guys learned on the ukulele? I didn't ask you that, Halala.
Gospel Ship. I wanna take a trip in that.
Or also Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Some little Hawaiian tunes like Grass Shack.
I want to go back
To my little grass shack in Kealakekua, Hawaii.
Yeah. That's what.
Right, we can all identify that a little bit.
Definitely want to go to Hawaii.
Yes. What inspired you to get into music?
I used to sit on some of the ladies' laps in the audience. My mom would just give me to somebody while they were performing. And
So what, do you have a big age difference? Excuse me.
we're about a year and a half apart.
So that would make her during that time she was about barely 2. And so she was already singing, she was about 3.
Wow.
And we would sing in churches. And then at the church, she would hand her to a lady in the audience at the front row or something.
And I'd just sit there. And
she was singing every word at 2 years.
So the ladies would say, "Oh, she's singing already with them. She's singing along."
Wow.
So I was like, "Well, might as well just put her back up on the stage." So then that's how I wanted to match with them too, because they all had matching dresses.
Found a tiny little dress that matched.
Did you really? Oh, how sweet.
My mom put me up there, and then I started singing with them. And then as we got a little older, we all started playing instruments. The ukulele is my first one, as I mentioned, and then they said, "Well, we don't have a bass in the band because ukulele kind of sounds similar to playing high-end, high-end stuff. So why don't you hop on the bass?" So we bought that same day a quarter-size upright bass, bigger than me. I was really small. I think I was 12 when I started. And that day we had a gig in a church, and Clara said, just play this note, and this note. Just play it like that. And so I said, okay. So then we played that night. And I just loved the bass. I loved it. And then about probably a year later, my uncle is also a bassist in DI and Dickies and a bunch of 80s punk rock bands.
Awesome.
And so he brought an acoustic guitar bass, and he taught me the G blues turnaround on it.
Okay, so what does that mean exactly?
It's basically anytime we hear a blues song, it's the chord progression they all use. This is the key of G, so it goes around to certain chords, and you can predict where it's going to go. So there's a bunch of walk ups and walk downs. It's a good bass. Little notes to add in. It's really fun. So he taught me that.
It's really fun.
He gave me that acoustic bass guitar, and then I fell in love with the bass guitar instead of the upright. Then I still continue to play the upright here and there, but I actually brought tonight. I have an electric upright. It's a Stag electric upright.
Wait, an electric upright bass?
Yeah, so it looks,
I don't think I've ever seen one.
Yeah.
It looks like one of those stick bugs, but
black giant stick one.
Oh, cool!
So now I've been playing for 10 years, and I love it. It's my
Wow,
favorite
that's
instrument. Play a little bit of guitar,
amazing.
stuff like that, but bass is my number one. The G blues turn.
G blues
I wasn't
turn.
singing G.
you could do that same
That's
person
okay.
in any key, and it's the same thing.
Yeah.
But he taught her in G because that's a good one.
You got the drummer back here.
And Noah.
Drummer Josiah, would you like to introduce yourselves?
So I'm Josiah.
Found him on the street.
Second youngest. I'm Noah, and
Lovely.
I
Okay.
call the Dixie Bell keyboard. It's made in Italy.
Well, no, we're just waiting for 10 more people.
I usually play like
So,
piano songs, but it's like on the piano and stuff, playing piano. Then when I started playing with the band, then I had to pick up the keyboard so I could go to shows and stuff.
A childhood memory you have with piano?
When I first started playing, I usually would play to like movie soundtracks and stuff like that, like Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh,
Stuff
sweet.
like that.
That reminds me because I teach some students, probably my first student, and he was in my recital.
How old was he?
He was, what was that, probably 5 years ago? Yeah, it was your.
Oh, what a special year.
I mean, he would
huh?
mostly teach himself, to be honest. Like, I would come and show him a few things, but he would be in there alone working on it. But so he learned the pirate song, so it was a good opener for my recital.
I learned the Lord of the Rings soundtrack.
Oh,
How did that
did you? Let's get to you, Josiah, right?
So I originally started on the guitar, and Claire actually taught me a lot of the guitar I know now because, I would watch all the girls play their instruments, and I kind of wanted, an instrument of my own. So guitar naturally I picked up just from so many guitars being laying around the house. So I picked one up and started strumming, no chords, just started strumming with just the strings, and so Claire came around and taught me a few chords. So I started on that, and then eventually I picked up the drums just out of necessity, I guess, for the band. Because that was what was missing. I picked up the drums, and my uncle as well, Tyler mentioned our Uncle Eddie, but his brother, our other uncle, Uncle Joey, plays the drum kit in all the punk rock bands. And play a lot with my grandpa as well. The trio, I guess, they would all play together as oldies, old classics, and I picked up a lot of drumming techniques and things like that just from watching.
Do you happen to remember what one of the earliest songs that you learned?
It probably wasn't a song, it probably was just the basic drum beat, just the basic.
Did you have to, like a counting thing, like where it's 1 and 3 or?
Since he was 3 years old, he'd be dribbling a basketball with no issues at all. And so
Wow.
we're like, hey, we gotta get him.
Well, you already knew right away it was the basketball talent.
Coordination, yes.
Everything.
He can play all of our instruments as well. Yeah, so.
That's amazing. That's beautiful. I guess the show is about to get ready to start, so I have 2 questions for you. Number 1, if you could think of 3 words that about music.
Fulfilling, exciting,
Memorable.
I've noticed sometimes we do the same exact things on stage. Like we'll finish a song and then we'll both step back and scratch it at the same time. Claire and I did that just the other day.
We mess up at the same time too.
Yeah.
If someone misses a chord, everybody misses a chord, but it's not.
But it sounds like
we all stop at the same time.
And inspiring. Cliche.
Fulfilling, exciting, and inspiring.
Yeah. Awesome. Fun. Very fun to play. Full.
Beautiful. I love
I would
that.
probably think of melody, rhythm, and harmony. Those would be the three main things, I think, because you have to have in order for something to be musical.
Yeah. Just love in general. Like you can show so much of that through music, and then empowering because music is such a powerful tool. Meaning, healing, love, empowerment.
Noah?
I would say maybe memorable, and then melody and expression.
Expression.
Check them out, Darden.
Yeah, superhero. I'd probably be someone who can shapeshift into like any animal.
You can say that.
Because then I could like be a bird and fly. Then I could be like you could have like every superpower because you could just be any animal.
Tabitha.
I'm not confident in him, but I would also be a shapeshifter because I love to travel, but I don't really like going on planes that much, and it just takes so long and the TSA and all that. So I would just travel the world. I'd fly and swim to an ocean. I'd love to swim like a dolphin. Awesome.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Mine, I'd want to breathe underwater.
Oh, wow. You guys all have a little connection.
I want to breathe underwater. And then you could just like go underwater and find other fish.
Find
cool fish. You can go deep into the ocean.
Right.
So.
I control time. So I just stop time and just walk around.
What? Right?
This one's always a hard one for me because I always think of the downfall of whatever thing I choose, so I go back and forth. But I think invisibility would be great because there's so many different things I could use that for. But then the other part of me would say like I would reach in a hat and be like superpower. Surprise me.
I love that. Thank you guys so very much. We are so excited.